paranormal. It surrounds us. It's everywhere. Tonight, you will hear from the people who live and work within these highly active locations, all in the efforts to discover America's most haunted. With your host, ghost hunter and author, Dan Terry.
Good evening, boys and ghouls. I am Dan Terry, your ghost host with the most haunted. And we are going back to the Midwest, my home area, going to Nebraska again. But this time we're going to be talking to Tina and Marcus, who have Journey into the Haunted. And it's a ghost hunting team. They've been doing this for about 8 years or so now. And he does the tech stuff. And they even have a online store to buy some of the tech stuff that he builds. They've been all over. I know they just got back from Kansas City, from the Missouri Paracon. A lot of stuff going on down there. And if you ain't been to Missouri, by the way, guys, you're missing it. We had the XCon in Springfield, the Missouri Paracon here. You got to get down. But going back to these folks, I want you to listen to what they've got to say because they've been there, done that, got the receipts. Marcus and Tina, how you all doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm glad to be here. How was MissouriCon for you?
It was great. We had so much fun. It was the first year out, so you kind of go into some of those a little bit hesitant, but
sure,
it was so well organized. Such an amazing lineup of special guests. The talks they had, just everything they did with that event was top notch. And I just came home so grateful and so happy. We met some amazing people, saw old friends, and they did a phenomenal job. They just knocked it out of the park. And everybody kept saying, I hope this goes over well because, first time event, maybe it doesn't go so well. They may not bring it back. But the end of day 2, they announced that they were coming back for 2026. The dates are released, and we're excited to do it all over again. I just hate that it's a year away. it really was that great. I highly would recommend for vendors or for attendees. They had things from the cryptid side in paranormal. I mean, it was really fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Missouri is well known, especially when you start getting to that side. The Spook Light, which sometimes it's in Missouri, Kansas, and Oklahoma. You never know where.
Yeah.
The Missouri State Penitentiary. I'm sure there was people from there.
Yes.
Gosh, there's just so much going on down there, especially on the west side. The east side's got a lot, but the west side, it's more spread out, it seems.
Yeah.
There was a place in Joplin, outside of Joplin, Prosperity School Bed and Breakfast. I did that building 3 times. Never disappointed. It's full of kid spirits. And they're all happy. They're in their old school. They're playing. It was incredible. I think it's a private residence now, but it was something back then. So what have you all done? You got Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, all close by, Illinois?
Yeah. Well, for me, the first place I ever went to was Malvern Manor here in Iowa, which 8 years of doing this, and we've kind of really gone coast to coast at this point. It still remains one of those just top-notch locations that just never seems to let you down. So that one's definitely a favorite of mine. I can have mixed feelings about sharing that because it's already hard to get a night booked even there. They're booked out, like a year in advance, and
wow.
But awesome. I love to share an awesome location too. But yeah, it's hard to get into that one because it's just great. But
just to make sure everyone knows, you've got 2 events coming up in Malvern Manor this year.
We do.
One is it next month?
Yeah, April.
Yeah.
5th, I think 5th or 6th. It's a Saturday. Whichever day of those is a Saturday.
Tell me about Ghouls Night Out.
I've had so much fun meeting lots of just different other girls that are into the paranormal, and we just laugh and giggle and have fun. And I thought, gosh, it'd be fun to have like a little kind of a slumber party like event. So we're going to give it a shot, and it's going to be
Okay.
just a girls' night at Malvern Manor. It's an full overnight for everyone, and we're going to do a little mini ghost photo shoot for those that want to participate, and then we're going to have little stations set up. You can do your nails, you can, you know, uh, do face masks. What else am I doing? I've got a lot going on. We're doing like a little make and take craft, a little stage kit. We're gonna have pizza, slumber party snacks, and just ghost.
Okay.
So that's good. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And I've got some dear friends, Charity and Michelle from Gypsy Witch Paranormal from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. They're gonna come down and be special guests of mine for the night. So definitely looking forward to it.
Marcus, when you're sitting there getting bored, St. Joseph, there's a haunted bar. I'll share the name of it with you that I
Ooh.
investigated once. Or do you have plans for that night? I'm sure
Oh,
you're not going to be there.
yeah, I'm not going to be there.
No.
I don't know. I haven't decided if I'm going to stay in a hotel in Omaha or not.
I understand that.
Yeah.
And just while we're on that topic, Stephanie Riley, or
O'Reilly. Yep.
She's a sweetheart. She was on my show here a year and a half, 2 years ago about her place and showed some awesome video. And you've got something going there, right?
Yes. New Star Events Company is doing an event there in May, and it's a Friday night, Saturday night. I honestly haven't looked at the ticket link that they just put out yet, but last year the way they did it is you could do Friday night or Saturday night, or they did a combo ticket where you could be there Friday and Saturday night. So
Okay.
that was kind of cool. And I say Malvern Manor is my number one. McIntyre Villa is right up there too. Not only is the place just absolutely stunning, it's very, very active. You never walk away from there disappointed. And Stephanie's amazing. So it's just one of those places you can't say enough about.
If you can keep her calmed down, she's just a little excitable, but I do think the world of her. She's awesome.
Yes.
So you've been there before. Have you ghost
Mhm.
hunted it? And what
Yeah.
what was your results? What did you find there?
Go ahead.
Do you have something you want to share?
Well, so there's that cigar room upstairs where the gentleman, I don't remember if he died or committed suicide in that room.
I think it was a suicide, if I remember right.
If I remember right, it was suicide. But anyway, we were a couple of us were sitting in that room investigating, and you could keep hearing like a knocking on the wall coming
Mm-hmm.
kind of on the wall where the bathroom is in that room. And we could not figure out where that was coming from. And it was almost on command. You'd ask a question and you'd get a knock. And it went on for several hours. It wasn't like just a real quick thing. And then we had a voice or something in the basement. We were doing a EVP session in the basement. And we caught a voice down there.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of what else off the top of my head though.
I've been there more times than Mark has, but one thing I remember is we were down in the basement, and there's a lot of different ideas of what that basement may have been used for, but we were picking up what seemed to be just a cranky old gentleman down there.
Okay.
And finally, our friend Steven is like, well, what do you want? And it just sounded clear as day, like he said, hot food. And he asked him more than once, and he got the response, hot food.
Okay.
And, some of the theories are that people may have been, kind of locked away down there. So I don't know, but we all know what we heard, and we all agreed it was that. And we
That's
got that
cool.
answer multiple times. The wildest thing I'd had happen at McIntyre, I was there with a couple teams one night, and we were sitting in the hallway on the second level, and we were lined up down the hall. We had the different lights and all the gadgets and gizmos out, and some others were downstairs. And I can't even really explain how it happened, but we were sitting there, and all of a sudden there's just this noise, and something shook the floor, and it happened so quickly. the people upstairs were concerned that something happened to the people downstairs or on the main level in the dining area.
Mhm.
And they were so concerned that something happened to us that we were like yelling at each other, going, "Oh my gosh, are you okay? Are you okay?" And we couldn't figure out what in the world happened. And so they had called Stephanie, the owner, who she does have cameras running in the villa, but it's not to, be creepy and spy on people. She has
Right.
them for this exact reason, that when so many things just pop off there that you're not prepared for to capture. So
Mhm.
she runs the tape and you could hear it, and it sounded like a gunshot went off. And then once she said that and we saw that tape, we just went, yeah, that sounds exactly like what it was. To
Okay.
the point that one of the people we were with actually called the police department in Atchison and said, "Hey, did you guys have reports of a gunshot?" And they said no. And I believe Stephanie was the one that told us that we were kind of around the date of the alleged suicide where the man shot himself. And
Okay.
then we were just kind of like it was crazy. And then, then when something like that happens, at least me, I start questioning, like, did I really hear that? But the thing with that one was we heard it and the floor, like we were sitting on it and we all felt the floor shake. It was, I don't know. It was
Like it was a
wild.
huge explosion.
Yeah, it was wild.
Oh, that's incredible. That's awesome. Any have you ever been to the Hotel Josephine down there? It's not in Atchison, but it's pretty close. I can't remember the name of the town right now.
No, I haven't. I'm going to write that down.
Well, it got bought since I was there. I actually helped when they did the world's largest ghost hunt back in
Yeah.
2020. And in fact, they are the ones that introduced me to Stephanie,
Oh,
but they've sold it since then. I don't know what the new folks are doing. We got some of the most amazing stuff there. I think Ghost Hunters went there after us,
Oh,
but
wow.
we got some incredible stuff. I've got audio of the talking to us over the spirit box. My meter's going off on request. Geez, they had what those devices that have the green lines of ghosts. You know,
Oh, those little,
yeah, I can't remember what they're called.
I don't know what this is.
the little stick figures.
Yeah, it shows.
Oh, the SLS?
Thank you.
Yes, yeah, they were new at that time. But this ghost, I accidentally called him a coward, and he started hitting me.
Oh,
I didn't feel a thing, but you could see it on the screen. They were just stunned. But yeah, that's a good place to check out too. That's not that far from Atchison. I don't. Yeah, it's along the Missouri River, pretty close.
yeah, we've
Okay.
done Beatty Mansion down in St. Joe a couple times, and we did a overnight once at the Glore Museum.
And what did you find there? I've never managed to get in there.
So the Glore, we were in the tunnels, and we were just sitting there talking. There was four of us. It was us and the Gypsy Witch Girls, and we were kind of having a conversation, and then it just got really like creepy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Tina said we had our we'll get to this later, but we had our little EVP burst box running at the time because we were in development of it, so we were testing it. And Tina's like, "I think someone's behind me," and she had her back to the wall in the tunnel, right? She's like, "I feel like somebody's like right here, like somebody's behind me." And we went and we played the recording, and clear as day on the recording, you could hear. I mean, it was so clear. It was kind of freaky.
All right.
Yeah.
One of the girls she just kind of like had, she's a little sensitive, so she was kind of feeling uneasy there. So we kind of moved on a little bit from that, wandered in the tunnels a little more. But
yeah, and for those that aren't familiar, the Glore is an old psychiatric hospital that is now a psychiatric museum. If you plan to go and investigate there, I highly recommend going during the day so you can take in all of the exhibits because it is wild. I mean, it is wild. And then they offer the investigations there overnight. And then when you refer to the tunnel, is it the prison? Is it a prison or a?
Yeah, well, the main tunnel as you go into the tunnel, it goes straight down, and then there's a wall at the end. It used to be the tunnel they transferred the prisoners into the psychiatric hospital.
Yeah.
But now it's walled off at the end, so you can't go into the prison.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds. And what prison was there?
I don't remember what it's called. But
Yeah,
it's still an active prison. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I did not even know there was one there. I've been to St. Joseph, to the Jesse James house and places like that, but I didn't know about this.
Yeah, the funny thing was the first time I found out about it was on like one of those road trippers, like quirky roadside attraction things. I love that kind of stuff. And I had seen, it might have been even before I was really into the paranormal.
It was early on because I was with you. I know.
I'd seen like psychiatric museum. Let's check this out. So we had been there years before too.
So you all said you've kind of went all over the country now, right?
Yeah, we've done. We did a road trip to California for vacation, but we kind of,
Yeah.
Yeah. So we ended up going through, like Utah, Nevada. So we stopped at like the Clown Motel. We went to Alcatraz. We went to the Winchester Mystery House. We went to, oh God, what the heck else?
Oh, the Queen Mary.
Queen Mary. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, I mean, we hit, I don't know, 6 or 7 places on that road trip. And then later that year, or the next year, we went to the East Coast. So we went to like Gettysburg and
that was just last fall.
Last fall, yeah.
We went
to Salem, Massachusetts.
Okay.
Up to Maine for a little bit. We didn't investigate anywhere in Maine, but kind of made a big loop there and came back. And yeah.
Wow. Now, have you been into West Virginia very much?
You were just close to it.
I did a road trip out to Ohio and did some stuff. And is that where I was close to it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Ohio.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, we've been to Waverly and.
Yeah, but I was clear out in Ohio, and I didn't realize I was that close to West Virginia. I was kind of like, oh my gosh.
It depends on where in Ohio, but actually the Silver Bridge, where the Mothman was seen, ran from West Virginia to Ohio.
Oh, I was probably close.
You were probably close.
Go back.
Yeah, absolutely. They got the Mothman Museum, a couple of haunted places there. One place, and I interviewed those folks, they've got they took 2 old barges off the river, the Tennessee River. They welded them 2 together, shipped them to Europe, and made it into a hospital during World War II, during D-Day.
Oh, yeah.
And it was stationed off the coast there as a hospital. So there's a lot of neat stuff going on in those 2 old boats they still have there in West Virginia.
Wow.
God, there's so much I've done in West Virginia. They invited me to lecture there quite a bit because they are trying to really work up their ghosts and monsters.
Yeah.
Sure.
And you may want to check out West Virginia next chance you're on a vacation.
I'd love to.
How'd you do in Gettysburg? Did you find anything there?
Not so much. I mean, we just were doing more of a day tour kind of thing. So we were, taking in all the sites and, getting the history and that kind of stuff. We didn't actually do an overnight there, but
yeah, it was kind of a quick intro to Gettysburg.
Well, what place have you been to that was just off the walls haunted for you?
I'll let you go with that one.
Oh gosh. There's so many places that stand out for a lot of different reasons. I kind of will always go back to Malvern Manor. There's just, it started out as a hotel during the days of, the railway transportation. That was one of the stops that people could stop for the night. And then once, cars came along, people didn't travel by rail anymore. And it transformed into, over the years, kind of a poor farm where people lived there and worked for their earned their keep kind of thing. And then it was like home for, I can't remember the word they, yeah,
convalescence.
there's
Gotcha.
yeah, but they had people with multiple personality disorder. They had people who had murdered, just, and even something that sounds so crazy today is people with Down syndrome would get dropped off there just because back in that time, nobody knew what to do with
Hmm.
people with some of those conditions. So they all just dropped all of these people off and they lived in these small conditions together. And you got a guy two doors down that's, you know, mental and has killed somebody. I mean, it's wild. And then in its last leg, it served as a nursing home, which ultimately got shut down. There was a lot of rumors of some poor,
Abuse.
yeah, abuse. And I think it had changed hands, and they really tried to make a good, positive kind of nursing home out of it. But at that time, the building had just been so old that the hallways weren't wide enough, and it just could not meet the standards. And then it ultimately got shut down from that. But you pick up just all kinds of crazy things in that place. It's kind of resident, claim to fame, I guess, is this shadow man that's in the hallway. And when they first started discovering this shadow man, he would kind of peek out of the room, and then he's known to just come out and just charge right down the hallway at people. The owner says he doesn't vacuum anymore because he was down there vacuuming and he got charged by the shadow man, and that was it. So, which I probably would do the same thing. But I personally feel like I've seen him peeking out, but I've never witnessed him charging. But one of the things too is so cool with that owner is he is constantly learning and researching and finding out more about people that were there, and reconnecting with old nurses that had been there that could share stories. But he found out that this murderer that was there was like a 7 foot tall man, and he would harass the nurses and ultimately charge at them with their little nursing carts when they would go around handing out maybe pills or whatever. And so that was quite a revelation there. But then there's the spirit of Gracie, who I think they said had like 13 documented personalities, which is just crazy. Um, I may have that number wrong, but there's just all these interesting characters that are go along with the rooms that they were in and their backstories, and you just kind of get pulled into all of that. And it's one of those places that just kind of calls you back all the time, and it's never a dull moment there.
Shadow people's an amazing phenomenon to me. I've seen
Mhm.
them over and over, and I'm sure you've probably noticed that the longer you ghost hunt, the longer you're in this world, the more you see them everywhere. Daytime, broad daylight, city streets, shadow people are darting around. Have you had that experience?
I have not. And one thing I find with myself, I had a great talk with an owner of a location once, and she kind of explained to me, she's like, when you grow up and you see things as a child, everybody says, "Oh, that's your imagination. You didn't see that." So there's always that, and I find myself doing that. Like somebody will say, "Did you see that?" And then I kind of lean into it a little more, like, "Oh, maybe I really did see that." But I try to get out of this, but I doubt myself all the time when I see things because, I still have that in my head of, you know,
Sure,
you
sure.
didn't see that.
I have seen those things so much I don't even doubt it anymore. It's just one of those things that happens. They're here, they're watching. Do
Yeah.
you have a theory on what they are? Are they ghosts, demons? Are they something totally different?
I guess it depends on the situation in which you saw him. If you're seeing the same ghost, every time you visit a place and he's walking through the same wall around the same time, I would say that's more of a residual kind of thing.
Okay.
The shadow man rushing you down the hallway, that
Yeah,
would be a little more intelligent than,
Yeah. Because
that would be a lot more startling.
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
All right, folks, I have to step away for just a moment and run a couple of commercials. So if you'll wait there, I'll be right back with you.
All right.
All right, hold on. I dig the shadow people. I think that's just an awesome thing. And I've seen them everywhere. My first one I saw shocked me because it ran in such a way that it just went suddenly a right angle turn faster than anything could. And I've seen them since then, many of the places I've been in. So I always like to get other people's opinions on that. Just my own personal things, I think they are something totally different. And sometimes demons can pretend to be them. Because I had one that actually challenged me. That one darting down the hallway, though, that would scare me. And I don't want you all to be scared, but I do want you to check some of these out. I'll be right back.
The new book, How to Research a Haunted House by paranormal investigator Margie Kay and professional researcher Violet Wisdom, is now available from Unex Media. This one-of-a-kind book explains how to do research on a house with uncommon methods and resources used by historic home researchers, and how to determine who may be doing the haunting and why. How to research a haunted house can be used by homeowners, renters, investors, and it should be in the library of all professional paranormal investigators. Get this unique book at unexmedia.com or amazon.com. That's unexmedia.com or amazon.com. The Unex Network presents a health and wellness spiritually based brand of hemp-derived CBD products made by Hopewell Farm in Harrogate, Tennessee. We apply our Cathara energy work with all of our plants and products. Our products made in small batches with only 2 ingredients of pure hemp, full-spectrum crude oil, and coconut-derived MCT oil. Third-party lab tested for potency and legal THC levels with 6 strengths of 1 ounce oil to choose from. Know what you're buying and get what you pay for from Hopewell Farm. Applied directly to a specific area, Hopewell Farm topical salve in 1 ounce and ½ ounce sizes, made with pure hemp crude oil, comfrey extract, and all natural ingredients. Find the Hopewell Farm link and coupon code on the Unex Network website at unexnetwork.com.
Tickets are now on sale for Rebels of Disclosure 2025, May 12th through the 15th in Grafton, Illinois at the beautiful Pierre Marquette Lodge and Conference Center. This will be a 4-day event with 12 speakers covering topics such as ET contact, experiencer testimonies, lost history, secret space programs, time travel, Illuminati, parallel realities, and so much more. Visit journeytotruth.online for more details.
All right, friends, we got to get right back over to Nebraska and right back over to Tina and Marcus, because I also want to talk to you about some of the products you guys have for ghost hunting.
Yeah. Just a real quick story on how this began.
Sure.
You know, I now say I collect hobbies as my hobby because I'm into a lot of things, and none of them are inexpensive. So, as we all know, getting into the paranormal and wanting all these cool little gadgets and gizmos, I mean, it's a pricey
Yes.
thing to get into. So, it all started with me wanting a paranormal music box because I think they're super cool that I've seen on, TV and whatnot. And I wanted one, but I didn't really want to spend that much for one. So, Mark has the kind of personality that if he doesn't know something, he's going to figure out and he's going to learn how to do it, kind of thing. So I kind of used that to my advantage and challenged him to build me a paranormal music box, and he did. And that's kind of where our small business started. And it's kind of grown from there. You want to talk about your music box?
Just drop it in my lap. Yeah. So essentially, this is what our box looks like on the outside. It's got a infrared sensor on the front. It'll do 1 to 15 meters of distance, so it goes out there a ways, and it'll play. anything moves in front of it or whatever, it plays the creepy little tune for you or whatever.
Okay.
And it is, you can change, with our box, you can change the tune. So if you want something else, you just put it on a MP3 on a micro SD card, stick it in it, and it'll
Okay.
play your stuff. It's got adjustable sensitivity. You can turn volume up and down. This has been a really good box. We've had a lot of people comment how much they like using this box, and I've had good luck with it. So,
and it's simple to use. I'm a disaster when I go investigating. I go with all my stuff ready to go, and 2-3 in the morning comes along, and you got stuff everywhere, and you're tired. I just swoop in like a tornado, and everything just gets thrown. And so, I mean, I like that it's very durable. And it's super easy to use. You just hit a on button, set it down, let it calibrate, and it's good to go.
Kind of glanced over it a little bit too, but we can customize them. So we can put team logos. We can do embossed like this is, or we have the ability. We can actually do to 8 color, full color logo, just flush on the top here. And we can do that pretty much on any of our devices that
I'm going to try and show a picture. I don't know if that'll show.
Let me try this. Hold on.
No, it's blown out.
It's not going to come in. A bit.
There you go.
We sold out of everything in Missouri, which is a good problem to have. So I unfortunately don't have much to show, but that's just kind of an example of what we can do for customization on them. We can do the embossed like that, but now we've got a machine that we can do color and logos, and we've been having all kinds of fun with it.
All right. What other devices do you all have?
So another device that we've recently come up with that was a request actually from fellow investigators. But this is an EVP burst box. So you do a burst session with it.
Mm-hmm.
But what it does is it's got a microphone on the front. You hold the record button. It'll record up to 120 seconds. When you're done, you release it. Immediately, the record button. It'll record up to 120 seconds. And it's got a volume adjustment on it, so you can turn it up or down. So you can immediately review that EVP session. It will not store the thing on, so if you capture something, you have to get out a second recorder or something and then record it.
Okay.
But until you hit the record button again, it will stay in memory. So you can play it back multiple times. You just can't hit record and then go back to a previous recording.
Is that putting it on a small chip, or?
It's just got onboard memory that it uses within the chip itself. It's got a chip and then a small amplifier inside here. Runs on a 9-volt battery, standard 9-volt battery.
Okay.
Yeah, the amplifier is the cool thing, and that's how we captured that breath at Glore that sounded like it was right over my shoulder. All 4 of us were sitting there. We heard nothing, and on that playback, we cranked that up, and we heard that. And I think it's cool because you don't have to take out your headphones or anything to try and hear on the spot. Your review of your evidence is pretty much done when you're at home. You don't have this recorder sitting there full of hours and hours of stuff. But yeah, it's just really simple and easy to use. And I like knowing right away, did I catch something or not? Because that can also drive your investigation, how your questioning is going to go, or it's just it's a great thing. And a lot of people use it as a supplemental device to a standard digital recorder. Well, their digital recorder running for 8 hours straight, and then they can capture this and time mark it, or pull their phone out and
that's more what it was designed for, is to supplement your investigation. It wasn't to be in place of something else. It was to add to. And then the other piece of equipment that we have is just a little REM pod. It's a little tight, and it's got a removable antenna. So you ready to go for the night, you just flip it off and pull the antenna off, and neat little package. So you don't have.
Yeah, it is. Is there lights or just the sound?
Nope, it does have a light on it.
A little one.
I see it now. Yeah.
Yep. And then you can stand it this way. You can lay it flat, however you need to.
And where would somebody find these things if they wanted to look at what you have and order?
So it'd be on our site. It'd be journeyintothehaunted.com.
Okay.
On Etsy, it is Journey and then N to the Haunted. But if you just go to journeyintothehaunted.com, it'll take you to our Etsy store.
All right. Where have you used those? Where have you gotten a lot of good results?
So we've used them personally. We've used them at Glore. We've used them at Farrar. We've used them at Edinburgh Manor, Malvern Manor.
Wow.
I took them out to Indiana State Sanatorium and the places in Ohio we went to, Fairfield County Infirmary,
McIntyre and Beatty Mansion, and
anywhere with a big open space, or it's great to just put it down a big long hallway. We did the Mineral Springs Hotel in Alton, and we had some great stuff. That night really showcased the sensor on that music box. He wasn't with me, but we were down one hall and it did an L shape, so we pointed it down that other hallway, and it would go off. And so then the friends I was with, they were trying to see how far down this hallway that thing would read, and it just kind of blew our minds. So we were like, well, this thing could be anywhere between here and like 20 plus feet away. And we had fun running around trying to test the sensor area of it, but it really picks up pretty good.
And then we've had customers send us video of they had the music box upstairs and everybody was downstairs in the common room or whatever, and they were just talking and the music box went off upstairs, and they all kind of.
And like shortly before that, she said, if that music box goes off, I'm going to freak. And then like not too long after that, the music box goes off. They were the only ones in the building. So that was kind of a cool one.
So, somebody had to give her that scare she wanted, I guess, huh? So journeyintothehaunted.com. They can find your stuff there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we've got
some other stuff.
We've got some other stuff that isn't actually equipment, but it kind of helps you with the equipment that you currently have. So we've got this is a stand for your K2, just a standard K2 meter. So you can set it vertically on a table,
down the hallway.
So you can set it at a table on the hallway, whatever, so you can still see it instead of it laying flat and you don't know what it's doing. And then we've got these little, everybody uses these spirit balls or cat balls or whatever. We've just got a little stand that you can set it on. So like if you're setting it on an uneven ground or something, it doesn't roll away on you. And it just kind of holds it there. And then they will still go off on these. We've had several occasions where it's been sitting on a stand and the light does still go off. And then the other thing that we've just come up with recently was it's a little stand that holds two balls, and but it's got right, and these glows in the dark.
That's a good idea.
So then, depending on yes or no answer, that ball would light up. You know what I mean?
Again, we even took a request from someone down south that said, we've got a lot of French things that come through on our recorders and devices. Could you also put yes and no on there in French? So we did that for them, which I thought that was a cool idea too.
Sounds like Louisiana then.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then one thing I wanted to kind of showcase too is we can provide our equipment in any of these colors, and we're always adding new colors. We have colors with glitter in them. We have shimmery colors. We have colors that glow in the dark. So, I mean, you really can just kind of pick and customize your stuff that we build, because we build everything for you. So we've got people that do like matching sets of equipment, or they pick their favorite colors and different things. The glow in the dark is super popular for like the cat ball stands, because again, 3 a.m. and you're tired, you can't see stuff, and those cat balls always get left behind. But if you've got one of the glow ones, that helps your efforts.
We do have, by request of one of our customers, we have a filament that actually has copper. It has metal shavings in it. So the thought being that because it's got the copper embedded in it, it's more susceptible to.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, if you have a request for something, we're more than willing to entertain it and see if it's something we can do.
Okay, that sounds really intriguing. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So then, the only other thing that we've got currently in the shop would be, it's like these little modular battery boxes, right? So it's got, you can put, this one is for 2, right? And you can do AA, AAA, 9-volt. We even have inserts for like SD cards or micro SD cards. And it's just a handy little box.
Yeah, keep them safe.
Yeah. And these have been really popular too. A lot of people really like these.
So you build those at home, right?
What's that?
Y'all build those at home?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. We built them. 2 years ago, we bought a 3D printer, and Tina's like, well, can you maybe do the music box on the 3D printer? And then it just kind of blew up from there.
Yeah, we started off with little wood craft boxes, and we were out in our backyard drilling holes and sanding these boxes and spray painting them, and it was quite a deal. And then they were doing so well, and winter started coming, and we're like, what are we going to do? Because the rest of the winters you're out spray painting. So, but yeah, once we went to the 3D printing, it's been an awesome upgrade for us.
Now, we were talking earlier about the Ghouls Night Out, the other Malvern Manor, and of course the McIntyre Villa. Will you have things there for purchase for these folks that are coming in to meet y'all?
We do. We can't take a lot of stuff with us, but I usually have a small showing of what we've got, and they can purchase what we have that night. But I've always got my clipboard with me, and I'm always willing to take any special requests, special orders. He's been working hard this week to fill special orders and custom orders that we took at the Missouri Paracon. So, yeah.
Where was the Paracon held at? Was that in a haunted area, or was that
It was at the Ameriprise Casino, Ameristar.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Hotel, yeah, it was a really nice facility. First time I'd ever been there.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think I've heard of that. It's Ameristar is all over, of course. There, so they do things top notch. So where else have you used this equipment that you could tell a story or two about it?
I've got one that's really cool, and it's something in development. It'll probably be a while before we've got it out, but no pressure, Mark. I wanted kind of a yes/no type box that lit up, red light, green light, that kind of a thing. And he built something, and he's still working on it. But I took it with me to the Sally House in Atchison.
Yes,
in Atchison. And I went there. You can pay like $20 in an afternoon and go in for an hour and investigate. And I just happened to be the only one in there. And I was up in what they call the little girls' room, and all the toys are in there. And I pulled out this device that he's, working on, and I started asking questions, and I wasn't really getting anything. And then I said, "Do you want to play a game?" And my light lit up, and I'm like, "Okay, this is cool. Now what do I do?" And so I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm going to make the light go off. I'll make the red light go off, and then I want you to see if you can, set off the red light." The red light would go off. And then I'd say, okay, I'm going to set the green light off because it's my turn. And I would, swipe it because it was a motion sensor, I think. And it would go off. And I sat there trying to figure out where is there a way I'm setting this thing off? Because it was just wild. It probably went on for 8 minutes back and forth of, okay, I did this. Now it's your turn. And I want you to do this. And it would do it. And it was wild. It was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So the other wild story that we've got, so the music box will play the music in 7-second increments, the way we have it set up.
Okay.
But if there's motion, it senses motion, it will continue to play longer. So we were at Farrar in the auditorium at Farrar, and it was bedtime, right? So we're all getting our cots and our sleeping bags, and the entrance to the auditorium, there's 2 doors, and then there's like a 15-foot space between them, right? So we put our cot between the 2 open doors, and we set one music box pointed either direction from us so that it kind of hit the door, but also the rest of the room. Well, probably 20 minutes into laying down, the music box on my side went off, right? So, and we're like, well, that's kind of, maybe I moved and saw it or whatever. So I was moving around, couldn't get it to go off. It's like, okay, we'll just chalk that up to maybe it was just something weird, right?
Yeah.
And about an hour later, the thing starts going off again. And it went off probably like 20, 30 seconds, right? So we're laying there. It's like, okay, what the heck was that now, right? So we didn't see anything, got our light out, looked, didn't see anything. And then we just about to fall asleep again. And the box went off, but it went off for like 8 minutes straight.
Wow.
We had the flashlight on. We were looking, nothing. There was nothing moving in that side of the room. And that is the only time I've ever had one of these boxes go more than 30 seconds or something. And I mean, it was a solid 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we got back home and we started, because I'd never been to Farrar and Tina didn't tell me anything about it, which I prefer anyway. But we get back home and there was an episode of Kindred Spirits that they were at Farrar, right? Well, come to find out, the way we had that music box pointed is where they had caught the principal or whatever in the back corner where the like whiteboards and stuff. It would have been at the back of the auditorium.
Okay.
And it was just like, wow, that's more than a coincidence that's the exact area that we were having this issue, It was kind of cool at the end, but
it's always great when someone else can verify, hey, I've had it.
Validate it, yeah.
Yeah. And that room was just a big open room. There was no chairs, no furniture, no nothing. I mean, it was literally a big empty floor. So, we were like, are there mice running around? What's going on? But you could literally see everything in that entire room because there just wasn't.
And we literally were the only 2 people even close to the 3rd floor. I mean, because there's
the only ones on the 3rd floor.
Because there's, the basement, 1st floor. Well, all of the other people that were with us were in the common room on the 1st floor.
Okay.
Sleeping. And we were the only 2 that even went upstairs. So it's not like, and it was kind of weird too, because you'd hear the music box would go off and it would stop, and then you'd like hear a click in the hallway or something.
Huh.
And like, what the world is that? And of course you're laying there in bed like, oh, I don't want to get up.
Yeah, at first I was like, this is so cool. And then when it just went off for like 8 minutes straight, I was like, okay, this is really cool. I appreciate this, but I am so tired. Could you just please stop?
Yeah, because we had a 6-hour drive home that morning. So it's like, we need to get at least a little sleep, please.
And where did you say this was at?
Farrar
Elementary School.
Oh, okay.
It's down by Des Moines, right?
Yeah, it's just outside of Des Moines.
Did I see, have you been to, is it Belvoir Winery?
I have not been there.
Okay. I thought I saw that somewhere.
But I haven't been there.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I hear that place is pretty crazy too. I've never been there myself, but.
Yeah.
So when you go out to these conferences and all that to set up, I guess you're setting up your tables and shops. Are you starting to stretch out now more towards out of the Midwest?
We've only done like 2 events so far. So we're kind of, learning all of this business stuff has been a journey of its own. And so we're kind of learning, how far we can kind of go out and still have it make sense for us for where we're at right now. We're definitely planning to go back to Missouri Paracon next year. I'd like to get to where we could venture out a little bit further, but we also both work full time, and we both love our vacations and our road trips, and all my other hobbies come into play there. So we're kind of limited as far as vacation time too, to how much time we want to take off to venture out. So we're just kind of finding how everything kind of meshes together.
All right. Well, guys, this has been awesome, and I really like the equipment you're building. Can we go over one more time where people can find your equipment?
You can find our equipment on our Etsy store. The easiest way to find us is just journeyintothehaunted.com. The store is named Journey into the Haunted, but due to character number limitations, the N is
Just
the
a
letter
capital
N.
N, yeah.
So it's easier to go to journeyintothehaunted.com to find us. But that's where all of our stuff is. We're on Facebook. Any of our events that we're hosting ourselves are through Eventbrite, and we will have events set up on our Facebook tab for those. And then we're also on Instagram too. We both are photographers as well. So when I first got into this, my immediate love was all these cool historical places.
Yeah.
And I really started just jumping into the photography. And that's kind of how Journey into the Haunted even started, was just a place for me to share cool pictures. And it's just kind of grown and changed.
Yep. And there's a TikTok as well.
Oh, yeah. We don't do a lot on there, but
some.
we try.
All right.
I can't get Mark to dance yet.
Well, on behalf of all of us, thank you.
Yeah.
So, once again, just real briefly, we have you guys doing the slumber party at the Malvern Mansion.
Melbourne Manor in Melbourne,
Night
Iowa.
out. And when is that again?
It's either April 5th or 6th, whichever night is the Saturday.
And then in October, you'll be back at the Malvern for a Halloween event and an investigation. And is there anything on your website that can direct people to that?
There is on our Facebook page. I have events set up there that'll tell you everything that's going on. I try to be extremely organized because that's how I like to go into things. So a lot of details there, and then links over to the Eventbrite for tickets.
I think that's where I saw it that way. So, and then you've got something coming up real quick, May, on the McIntyre Villa.
Mm-hmm.
And where can they get information on that? Will that be on your website also?
That is through New Star Events Company. They are also on Facebook, and the other kind of co-host of the evening is our Mid-10 Paranormal, MIDTENN. They're in Tennessee. Okay. And they have really been pushing it out. So I would assume you could find it on New Star Events website, and if not, through Mid-10. And once I grab a link, I'll be sharing it out as well.
We'll share it on our page as well, yes.
Yeah, as soon as you can, because people, I'm sure, are going to want to go there. And being from Missouri, I got a lot of Midwest people watching.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, we definitely want to get that information out. I'd like to do that for you all, Stephanie. That the building is just incredible. I've seen she's shared a bunch of ghost videos.
Mm-hmm.
So it's it's something we'd like to get advertised, get it out there for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, Tina, Marcus, thanks for being on.
Thank you.
If you'd hang on just a little bit, I'll want to come back after I get done with the end credits. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. I'll be right back with you. Thanks again. Talk to you soon.
Yep.
So much going on with those folks. Can you believe that equipment they're building themselves? Even when I got a 3D printer to help, these folks are into it. And that equipment, if it stretches out as far as they said, which I'm sure it does, hey, that's pretty good. That's better than most what you can pick up. And guys, you need to check that out. So it's once again, you need to check out Journey. Where did I find here? JourneyIntoTheHaunted.com. That will take you most everywhere. Going and checking out the McIntyre Villa with these folks. Man, I think you'd be missing something good if you didn't. And on top of that, let's chat real quick about becoming a member of the UNX Network. Just go to unxnetwork.com. First screen, drop down a little bit, put your information in, and you get a lot of good stuff out of that. If you become a paid member or subscriber, I know the magazines come to you every month, and there's some really good writers, some really good people. Every topic is brought up: UFOs, ghosts, cryptids, curses, werewolves, vampires. I usually have an article, not always, but I usually have an article in the magazine each month. This particular one here on the left, the darker one, I actually had 2 articles in there. One was on the haunted battleship North Carolina, and the other one was legends of Halloween. Specifically, guys, when I was a kid, back in the Stone Age, when dinosaurs and Studebakers roamed the earth, every Halloween, the rumor would fly around that there were cults kidnapping children, or people were putting razor blades and poison into the fruit or candy. And mostly it was untrue. There was some things. That's what I hit on that article. Just going back into the history of that. So it comes with the membership. Check it out. And again, it comes to you monthly by email, or you can buy it in paper, but it comes right to your email address. So you're really kind of missing out on that one. Plus, we have the X-Con. This year it's going to be virtual again, like it was our first year during COVID. And you can stay home. You don't have to buy hotel rooms, all this other stuff. You just check it out. So again, watch out, check out onxnetwork.com. And other than that, I guess I need to tell you all, wherever you're at, stay cool, stay warm. Summer's coming quick. Spring out here in North Carolina, it's, oh, guys, some days it's cold. Some days it's 30. Some days it's 80. It's like Missouri weather all over. But again, I want you guys to stay warm, stay cool, whatever it takes. And most important of all,